People visiting Israel for the first time tend to agree that it's a life-changing experience. We met up with a friend at the Garden Tomb here in Jerusalem who wants to make this happen for as many pastors as possible. Bishop Robert Stearns, great to be with you here in the Garden Tomb. Last month we were there at the CBN studios when you had the Day of Prayer for the Peace of Jerusalem that went worldwide. Tell us why you're here in the Garden Tomb today.
We're here with a group of 30 pastors who've never been to Israel because I believe it is absolutely important that we pass on to the next generation of Christian leaders a biblical understanding of the importance of Israel and the church's connection to the Jewish people. We've been traveling all across the land, and these pastors have just had their heart and their mind expanded to see not only what did God do in this land thousands of years ago, but what is God doing here today, and how do we as believers link to the miracle of Israel today?
For a young generation, a millennial generation, to understand the right narrative. There's been so many challenges, I know, in America with what is the role of Israel? Why do we care about that role? And what do we do to partner together and to find the roots of our faith? What does that look like today? And so that's something that we're seeing, just a revelation in these young pastors, to see their eyes open, and for the first time, many of them realizing, I get it.
Oh my gosh, Bishop Robert Stearns and his trips have been so impactful in so many different ways. I think one of the greatest dynamics is just the personal touch of the heart of God, his passion for the land and the people, what it means to engage with what God has on your life as he's woven it into the story. So I've seen so much in the last 10 days, and if anyone was, I would recommend to go on a trip with him. If anyone were asking, hey, who I would go with or where should I be engaging with, I would definitely say Eagles Wings and Bishop Robert Stearns. It's been phenomenal time.
I think we read the Bible in black and white. When you come here, you see it in color. It comes alive, it pops off the pages, and it reminds you that these things are historical, that they're accurate, that they happen, but it also reminds us that we serve an everlasting God, a living God who's alive and well today, just like when he walked the steps of Jerusalem. Every pastor should make their way to Israel. It will make their teaching, their revelation, their insight more alive than it ever was before. It gives practical application. You get to see proximity. I don't think we understand how close something was or how distant something was until you're actually on the ground. You see it up close and for real. It will help their teaching to be more practical and more relevant to their congregants.
The Judeo-Christian world, the Western world, faces twin threats in our generation. There is the threat of a radicalized Islam, which we see in Iran, we see in Syria, and then in their proxies here, Hamas, Hezbollah. This is a very, very real threat. And we face the threat of radical secularism, a radical humanism that is absolutely opposed to anyone who believes in the God of the Bible. And this is the twin threat that is facing the Judeo-Christian world right now. Jews and Christians stand together, united, as we work for our children and our grandchildren, needing to come together as never before and cooperate with what we agree on. Certainly there's areas of theological difference between the Jewish and Christian communities. We don't minimize those areas of difference, but there is so much that we agree on. And in the light of these twin threats of radical Islam and radical humanism, it's more important than ever that Jews and Christians work together. I believe all over the world, even as we see political change, sometimes political things that are concerning to us, I believe there is a remnant church rising. I absolutely believe there is a people whose hearts are turned toward the Lord, and that in this hour, God is gathering a remnant people for such a time as this. And those people are praying for the peace of Jerusalem, working for the peace of Jerusalem. And I believe that even, the prophet says, darkness will cover the earth, gross darkness the peoples, but the light of God will arise upon you. We're living in a moment where the light of God is arising upon a remnant church in the nations. It's a time to look up and rejoice.
Amen. Encouraging word. Bishop Robert Stearns, great to be with you.
Always an honor to be with you, Chris.